Governor Phil Murphy is joining us now. Governor, thank you so much for doing that. Let me start where I know you want to start, not with fiscal issues, but with people. Where are you right now? I listened to your news conference yesterday. I know you had about 267 deaths so far. Where are we today? How fast is it going up?
Yeah, we haven't announced the overnight numbers, David. I don't get them until a little bit after this, but the numbers are clearly going up. 267 precious lives lost, as you mentioned, as of yesterday, almost 19,000 positive tests. The positive test number, frankly, actually both numbers, sadly, we expected and warned people, but the positive test numbers sort of cut both ways. On the one hand, it's positive tests of people who have got the virus. On the other hand, it gives us a much better sense of the dimensions of this, including we've got, we keep now not just positives but negative testing results as well, and that gives our epidemiologists and the other professionals a better handle on trying to figure out where this is headed and how we can stay ahead of it.
One of the things we're all looking at is the rate of increase. Do you have any sense, or is it too early to sense, whether the rate of increase is diminishing at all?
The rate of increase on positive tests is diminishing, but in fairness, that's a little bit of an imperfect assessment because as much as I want to test everybody, and that was our hope from day one, we just don't have the materials from the feds to be able to do that, both the specimen collecting materials as well as the protective equipment for our healthcare workers. But the rate has been flattening as a percentage-wise. Sadly, the number of fatalities, raw numbers and percentages yesterday jumped up again, sadly, I say with a heavy heart. Too early to tell. I think one other point, David, that needs to be said is we've been about as aggressive as any American state. The most aggressive set of steps we took were a week ago Saturday, so that's 11 days ago. Some of these testing results that we're getting were from specimens that were collected 8 to 10 days ago. So we're not going to have a real handle on the impact of the very aggressive social distancing probably for another week or so.
Yeah, Governor, we all know at this point that social distancing seems to be the best weapon we have in the arsenal. At the same time, New Jersey, as I understand it, is the most densely populated state in the nation. What special challenges does that pose for you? Can you monitor the extent to which people are complying, or for that matter, can you enforce it?
Yeah, so we are, David, the most densely populated state in the nation, which gives us a unique challenge. In the north, and you can imagine the north and central part of the states, we're part of Metro New York, so we're living the same reality that New York City is. We're sort of all in this together. Compliance based on every objective assessment we have right now is very high. I wouldn't have said that 2 or 3 weeks ago, particularly among our young people who felt and probably still to some extent feel that they're invincible. But we enforce this aggressively. We have the state police out last night. We've obviously got local and county officials. We're finding people, not just hosts, but people who attend any gatherings. We're literally telling people, stay home, stay away from other people, no gatherings, period. And if you violate that, you will pay a big price.
And, Governor, give us an assessment, if you can, of your healthcare system. You're under stress already. It looks like it's going to get worse. It doesn't sound like you're at the apex yet. Where's the biggest weakness at this point? Where's the biggest need?
Again, this is a two-front war, David. If you think about it, and the listeners think about it this way, on the one hand, it's cracking the back of the curve, the social distancing piece. On the other hand, it's building out as aggressively as we can our healthcare capacity. So our needs are, we've gotten ventilators out of the federal stockpile. We're grateful for that. We're going to need more. We've gotten personal protective equipment, not just from the feds, but from a variety, countless other sources. We're still short. We are building out beds aggressively, including 4 field hospitals with the Army Corps of Engineers, the first one of which I'm going to tour tomorrow. Again, huge, helpful step, probably going to need more. And then lastly, we've got healthcare workers who are our heroes, along with first responders. We need to bolster their ranks. We've been taking in volunteer requests. I've just signed an executive order today that's going to waive a whole lot of the licensure and other red tape to be able to get those folks up and running at the front lines.
And, Governor, as I said, you announced today that you're going to postpone the end of your fiscal year to September 1, as I understand it. What went into that decision? What does that accomplish for you?
Yep.
Sorry, September 30. I beg your pardon. Okay.
Yep.
What does that do for you? What went into that decision?
Yeah, it's a big deal, and I want to thank the leaders in the legislature who worked with us on this. Our normal fiscal year is June 30. Normally, everybody gets their income taxes in by April 15. Usually, by the end of April, we can assess with a high degree of certainty how the balance of the fiscal year is going to play out through May and June, and that's a good runway for us to be able to project and negotiate and finalize a budget. The feds have pushed, as you know, the federal tax deadline back to July 15, which is 15 days after the end of what would have been our fiscal year. So our decision, taken again in cooperation with the leaders of the legislature, is to push back our budget another 3 months to September 30, push back the filing of state taxes to July 15, such that we'll have a similar period. By the end of July, we'll have a good sense of where the year is coming out, and we'll be able to negotiate what will be, by the way, a tough budget. I'm not making light of that, but we'll have all the information at that point we will likely need to responsibly put a budget to bed by September 30.
Well, I was going to ask about that tough budget. I understand you have a delay now. You don't have to put it together right now. But as you look at it, how big a problem do you have on the expense side? Do you have to contemplate the possibility of layoffs or furloughing employees?
We haven't yet, and I would say this, that right now folks need government more than ever before, and that is a fact, and you could see it across the whole breadth of government. But listen, our expenses are through the roof. We're the first line of defense with somebody who's lost a job or someone who's sick or a small business, and our revenues have fallen off a cliff. So that's we're in the middle of a real bad pincer reality at the moment. Now, the Fed bill from last week is a good start, and there's a significant amount of money in one form or another in that for New Jersey. We need the feds to be as flexible as possible with how that money is spent. And I was on the phone with Speaker Pelosi yesterday or the day before a couple of times, walking through our opinion as to what the next step needs to look like, because while last week was a good step, it can't be the last step.
There's a fair amount of money in there also to get to small businesses, which, as we all know, including in New Jersey, are so much the backbone of our economy. Is it realistic, from what your discussions with small business in New Jersey, to expect small business owners to hold on against the promise of money to come from the feds? Can it get there fast enough?
Listen, it will depend, like anything else in life, it will depend on the situation, David, so I can't speak for everybody. We are encouraging folks to hold on because the money from the Fed bill last week is going to get put out very quickly. We've also, through our own Economic Development Authority, taken a whole series of steps, loans, grants, and other steps that they are aggressively pursuing. If you keep people on your payroll, you're going to be in better condition for federal support. But, this has been a world of hurt for workers. Our unemployment, America's unemployment rate is skyrocketing. Small businesses have been crushed. So there's probably no blanket statement that applies to any universe right now, but we're going to do everything we can to be there for them.